covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
Unfortunately, they must have felt that they were threatened in some way. Why they have a knife at school, that's not, anything that is allowed.
A student charged with attempted murder. How Gridley is coping with a stabbing investigation at the high school.
Plus, an emergency meeting happening now to replace Shasta County's top election official. We'll take you there live.
But first, we are tracking gusty winds and rain across our area. We're already seeing rain in the valley. There you see, what is that, Concal Lake that we're looking at right there from Alert California?
It looks beautiful as long as you're not standing out there in it, right, Howie?
Well, you can stand in it longer than us because you're better at the plunging. Is that what you're referring to?
Sure. I could, but who wants to?
No, too cold, especially with the winds, and then the rain coming down and the lack of sunshine where we had an abundance of just a few days ago. But our weather pattern went 180 degrees and reverted back to early spring, late March. And okay, so rain for the most part on the lighter side. You're seeing the snow in the higher elevations. I was tracking some thunderstorms, isolated thunderstorms earlier today. Let's see, yeah, they're still there. They look like they've kind of fizzled out a little bit, lost a little bit of energy. For the most part, rain on the light side. But the big news in the area have been the winds. We were gusting over 45 miles per hour yesterday, and we're doing it again today. Now, by tonight, the advisories should be lifted, but we'll still be breezy into Friday. I'm talking 20, 25 mile per hour winds. But then by Saturday, we'll get to more business or comfortable weather, if you will, with winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, winds sustained in some spots close to 30 miles per hour. But we'll talk more about these storms coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Howie.
Well, after high water levels on the Sacramento River caused extensive damage to one of the most popular parks, the city of Redding is now asking the state to help pay for repairs.
Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield tells us how much it'll cost to fix Nurpon Open Space on Henderson Road.
The city of Redding is seeking $625,000 from the state's emergency fund to help pay for damage at Nurpon Open Space, along with Enterprise, Turtle Bay East, and Caldwell Parks. After announcing a partial reopening on April 1st earlier this month, the city now says there's no timetable for the park's reopening until repairs get underway.
Deposits of heavy rocks and sediment in the river caused this trail closest to the pedestrian bridge to suffer some of the worst damage from last month's storms.
The city of Redding says Nurpon's closure will give Dignity Health time to improve road conditions near the open space, adjacent to where it's building its new Sierra Pacific Cancer Center.
Access to the water, good place for my dogs. I mean, 2 labs, they love the water.
We're really hoping that can get opened up before it starts getting hot.
Reporting in Redding, I'm Blake Mayfield. Action News Now.
Nurpon's damage came after the Bureau of Reclamation increased outflows from Keswick Dam to more than 60,000 cubic feet per second on February 6th.
New details now in an officer-involved shooting in Oroville that happened over the weekend. Police say Joseph Nelson was the suspect who was shot, and the officer who shot him was Chige Tao. We reported earlier this week that police said that a man threatened a relative and officers with a rifle late Sunday night. Officers say Tao, a 6-year police veteran, shot Nelson, sending him to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Tao is now on administrative leave due to department policy as the investigation continues. New developments now for Shasta County's search to replace its county clerk, registrar of voters. We told you earlier this week that Tom Toller announced he will resign from the position because of health issues. Today, the Board of Supervisors discussed the options now to replace him. Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is live outside the board chambers now in Redding. So Jesse, what comes next?
Well, Alan, the Board of Supervisors had 2 options to consider. They actually had to meet here at the City Council chambers as the regular board chambers have work being done. But they decided they had 2 choices. One, either make an appointment to the position to replace Tom Toller, or 2, go through a recruitment process like they did just about a little over 9 months ago when they selected Toller. A lot of discussion was made, a lot of people in favor of appointing the assistant RV, Joanna Francesca, to the position. However, the board voted unanimously to go ahead and go with a recruitment process. That process starts immediately. They say they're going to have an ad placed for the position tomorrow, and that they should have their final pool of candidates for the position by the end of April. Live in Reading, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Toller's resignation becomes effective April 29th.
Today, our community has gathered to mourn and honor the Marysville officer killed yesterday in the line of duty. A procession started at D Street in Marysville and continued through Yolo County to Placer County this morning. That is where an autopsy will be performed. 27-year-old Officer Omar Rodarte was shot and killed serving a search warrant in Olivehurst. Officers say 60-year-old Rick Oliver of Olivehurst shot and killed him today. It happened yesterday, but we learned this today, the name of that person. And the loss is felt throughout the region.
It's tragic that it was part of the job. I don't know if that sounds wrong, but I actually met this young officer many times. At the Elks Lodge, we've hosted coffee with cops and so forth several times. I've met him. He has responded to calls. Just a great human being and so young. So it's very tragic.
Rodarte was a 2-year veteran of the Marysville Police Department and also of the U.S. Army. In his honor, flags at the state capitol and Capitol Annex were flying at half-staff today.
Today, the Chico Area Recreation and Park District discussed the idea of taking over management of some parks and facilities from the city of Chico. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe was at that meeting that was just late this afternoon. So Margot, what did the board have to say about this idea?
Alan, there were some concerns from the board. One of the board members brought up about how some parks have a history of homelessness where parks are frequently, where some of the parks have a history of homelessness where either homeless people frequently camp in them or they frequently return to the parks after they have been cleared out. Now, some of the parks that they are being considered or not limited to include Tigard Ponds, Depot Park, Comanche Creek, City Plaza, 1 Mile, and Lower Bidwell Park, and Children's Park. And it's no secret that some of these areas have undergone homeless camp sweeps by the city multiple times. Now, remember, this was just a discussion. There was nothing finalized today, but this board staff will take all the concerns that they got from today and bring it to city staff where they will discuss it further. Reporting live in Chico, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
Thank you, Margot. As of now, there is no timeline on when this idea might be brought back to the Chico City Council or to the CARD board. Some good news now. The Chico Police Department took a moment to honor its own heroes today.
Several of the department's 106 sworn officers were recognized at the Neighborhood Church Fellowship Hall. Among those receiving accommodation was the team of officers who helped apprehend Kevin Carlson, the man who destroyed the Bidwell Mansion in December.
It just provided an opportunity for me to showcase to this community the quality work that this organization does to provide the service we do every day.
This year's Police Officer of the Year award went to Tyler Rainey. The department also recognized Carly Gott as Civilian Employee of the Year and Millie Shelton as Dispatcher of the Year, both honored for their exceptional dedication to the force. Congratulations and thank you to all.
Now listen to this. If you are a boater, new developments for the Butte City Bridge, what you need to know if you travel that direction.
And how Gridley High students are coping after that stabbing on campus.
It surprises everyone here in the community that someone would have to use that kind of force.
Open 2 minutes.